I'm going to help you be happy. And not in the sense that anyone else has ever shown you how to be happy in your entire life. I'm not going to go, oh, I read this book and then I did this, or I watched this other video and I did this. No, I'm going to tell you what I actually figured out after researching the topic and experimenting with it for my entire life. The no bullshit answer is that everything is just a game of brain chemistry. That's all it is. It's not actually going out and doing anything. It's just mastering your brain chemistry. And that means your happy chemicals and your stress chemicals and your neurological pathways. There isn't anything else to it that anyone else is going to tell you that's going to make it any different. At the end of the day, you are a mammal. No matter what you want to think about it or feel about that, you are. That's the way that it works. That's all the way that it has worked. That's all the way it's ever going to work. And once you understand that dopamine is not the only chemical that there is, there's other ones, and you have to know how to use those as well. Not just watch dopamine detox videos and dopamine everything. That's not what it's about. It's about serotonin, it's about oxytocin and endorphins. If you're a man, you have to deal with a lot of testosterone. If you're a woman, you have to deal with estrogen. Those are other things that can control you, but those are not the most important things. The most important things are the 4 happy chemicals: oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins. What does that mean regarding getting out of a rut? So whenever you're in a rut, that means that there's something wrong with your chemicals one way or another, and you need to solve it. One problem that you can have is simply a bad diet. I know that doesn't sound exciting, doesn't sound like fun, but that's entirely possible. In my life, I've spent a lot of time eating a lot of shit that I should not have eaten, and then found out that the problem was actually what I was eating. I was not in shape, I didn't work out, I didn't do any exercise, I just expected that I should feel fine. We were not born and designed by evolution to sit around and do nothing all day and play on our phones. That's not what we're here for. If you're a man, likely you'd be foraging, you'd be hunting, you'd be doing things out in nature in order to continue survival. If you're a woman, you would likely be breeding and then maintaining the household one way or another. However, we do not live in that environment anymore. Not at all, in any way, shape, or form. The gender roles can be completely reversed. It doesn't matter anymore. We're trying to live in a world that is completely opposite of what we have been designed to do over this entire time, yet we're fighting with ourselves saying we should be happy regardless. It doesn't work that way. Nature's not designed to make you happy. Nature is designed to keep you in survival mode. While you're in a rut because you're safe and it feels good. You don't have any actual reason whatsoever to be happy. There's no reason to have any of those other chemicals going. You're safe, you're comfortable, you don't have to worry about anything killing you, you don't have to worry about surviving, you don't even have to worry about anything, nothing. You are living in a time when you have it better than any king ever had it in the past 2,000 years. So however long you want to look back, you've got it better. You could have pretty much anything in the world delivered to your doorstep, and you can travel to pretty much anywhere within 24 hours. And you can also communicate across the entire world. Back in the day, not so much. You have every luxury that's necessary in order to be happy. However, you still aren't. Why is that? It's because you don't understand those chemicals and you don't understand how to use them. So I'll walk you through them and give you the least path of resistance in order to get out of the rut that you have right now. Right now, the only thing you probably know about is dopamine. Now, dopamine is supposed to be a reward chemical. It's moments of joy. That's not happiness. It's not something that's prolonged or sustained. Whenever you continuously use that, it gets less useful to the point where you don't even feel it anymore. It just feels like numbness. In reality, inside of your brain, since you were born, imagine it kind of like the Big Bang. And ever since you were born, every galaxy, every star is more or less a memory or an experience that you have that is associated with one of those happy chemicals. If you've ever been on a date with somebody and it worked out good, it's not dopamine. There may have been that little burst of dopamine whenever it initially happened, but that doesn't mean that the entire thing is dopamine. It's actually oxytocin. Anytime that you feel love towards somebody or an attraction towards somebody or anything to do with another human being and you interacting and it feeling good, that's oxytocin. Whenever you were inside your mother, grown inside of her, and you felt that warmness, that was your first touch with oxytocin. Whenever you sit down in bed and you pull those blankets around you and it feels good, that's oxytocin. Whenever you hug somebody, that's oxytocin. If you're in a rut right now, why not talk to somebody that you love and that you care about and have a good time laughing with them, invite them over, go see them. You can actually just go see people. That's a real thing still. You don't have to always do everything on your phone. You can also do something that you enjoy with serotonin. What hobbies did you used to have? What hobbies would you like to have? I, for example, could not play a piano a day of my life until I was 30. And it's only because we had COVID turned into a time where I said, I have nothing else to do. I'm just going to sit here and do it. So that's what I've been doing for the past few years, and I figured out that I really enjoy it. But that's not for everybody. What I would highly suggest is look back at the time whenever you had the most fun, the most enjoyable things you've ever done, not something that other people told you to do or suggested that you would like. Look back and see what was the time that you were actually the most happy doing something that you enjoyed, regardless of how anyone else felt. And I would suggest you go do that. And don't even worry about the consequences. Don't let things stress you out or bother you. You need to live a life true to yourself, not to anyone else. That is another part of happiness. It's not creating a bunch of galaxies in your brain that are going to protect you from other people. It's about creating galaxies that are ones that you love to live in. But whenever you're actually immersed, you're actually feeling the emotion, you're actually feeling what's going on, that is what makes life worth living. Whenever you are in a rut and you are miserable, it's okay. It's okay to be in those states momentarily. However, that is not a life that I would suggest living for a sustained amount of time. Whenever I'm stuck in those moments, one thing that I always remember is that I'm going to die someday. I know it's not very fun to think about, but remember that one day you are going to be dead. And today could be that day, but likely it won't be. You should take every moment that you have and cherish it as though it were a miracle, because it actually is. It is something that you don't even understand the odds of being alive right now in this time. Being in a rut is just a waste of everything that you could possibly be doing with your time. Right now, I'm making this video because I've accomplished everything in my life that I've ever wanted to do. I've solved every problem that I've ever had. I don't have to work if I don't want to, but I want to help other people stop being slaves to everything else in this world and learn how to control their own minds, control their own happiness, and understand it in a way that makes sense. You are just a mammal. You have happy chemicals. Those are what make you happy. They're determined by your diet and your memories and essentially who you are from the day that you were born. Everything that you let into your mind is your responsibility. If you let crappy things into your mind, you're going to get crappy ideas. But if you get amazing things into your mind, things that you actually care about, things that you want to develop, things that you want to work on every single day, eventually you will create the mind that you don't need to worry about getting into ruts and how to get out of them. Because you're going to be a person that you love to be day in and day out, and that person doesn't have any problem with getting into ruts, acknowledging that they are real because it's part of being human, but then you're able to take a step back and go, I'm happy to be alive. And I'm not going to do nothing today because it's the right thing to do. If I were to die tomorrow, what would I think if I could even still think about it, about what I did? Think about that. Hold yourself responsible to yourself to live the best day of your life every single day. It's what I do. Some days they look like ruts, some days they look like the most active, ridiculous days possible. But every single one of them are days that I know at the end of them, if I don't wake up, I can look back and go, that was a good day. And I've lived thousands of other great days. And I could die today, and it's okay. Don't let anybody stress you out. Don't let anyone bother you. Live a life true to yourself. And if that means being a rut for a few days, that's okay. But know that you should be out doing things that you enjoy and enjoying and feeling life.